Hi guys, video 14? Man, it's been 2 weeks. Wow, that's awesome. I feel really good about that right now. Something that I want to talk about is, there are days that I feel like I'm doing really good, and there are days that I feel like I'm not doing so good with these videos. Yesterday I felt awesome. Like I really liked it, and then I really liked the one before that. Um, and as what was like some Buddhist philosophy for you is that I'm just looking to remain neutral with it, and my neutrality is focusing on my commitment rather than the feeling satisfied or the feeling terrified, or that they're not very good or that they're really good, which I haven't had that experience yet, and I'm open for it. Um, this is actually a retake. The first one that I didn't like. I got about 5 minutes into it, got all hung up, um, couldn't recover from it. Thankfully, I'm getting this out of the way now. Um, Instead of, at some point, I feel like I will be doing it either in front of um, large audiences, like live. There's certainly small groups doing workshops and things like that. One of the workshops that I'm gonna do is on the nature of, and I don't know if I talked about this or not. If I'm being redundant, I apologize. But this is what there is for me to talk about right now, is doing a workshop on boundaries and belonging and how those two sort of interface. And the way that I see boundaries is that boundaries is the midpoint between two people, in this case. Um, and boundaries in the place of belonging, like that feeling state, that internal sense, um, to me, the way, like one of the ways that those interface is through connection. And where do you find connection? How do you feel the opening? And can you feel the opening? Can you feel like where you connect from? Where do you experience that on a physical, energetic, emotional level? I keep staring at myself when I'm doing this recording. I'm trying to like just look at the camera, just like connect with whoever is viewing this. Um, but I can't, I'm not interested in just keeping my eyes fixed there. Um, and in the workshop, it will actually, what I'll do is I'll have people pair up and feel. It would be like a guiding through like how to feel where this connection is. And in my experience, it was pretty profound. I noticed how I had some energetic barriers, meaning like my psyche didn't feel safe enough at in the beginning to let a person enter me, meaning um, like on an energetic level, and I'm going to be talking about like energy as commerce and tantra. This is like a thing, like sexuality as commerce, but this is a little bit different in that, well, it's kind of similar. There's a tantric practice called Tan Lin, and essentially what you do is two people will face one another in a seated posture, and your and in fact I'll actually do it now because this might be really useful. I feel a little wonky. So what you do is you face one another, and you're looking to disengage from the mind. Awareness sort of starts to drop into the heart space or the lower dantian or first chakra. And from there, you just breathe into the experience. You breathe into, and the whole time that this is happening, you're looking the other person in the eyes. Ideally, this is with someone whom you have already have connections with, but it's completely not necessary. You can go really deep in those connections, but again, that's not necessary either. And then you just start to get present to, like, what's behind you. What is that feeling like behind you? Like, where does your consciousness end behind you? How far back can you feel? All while connecting with the person in front of you, meaning eye contact. And if you can relax enough and sort of allow yourself to be vulnerable in that state, what can start to show up is the felt sense, and it's subtle, but the felt sense of this energetic movement back and forth. And that's a type of commerce. This is what a lot of energy workers typically are dealing with in some form or fashion. Oftentimes, like, referred to as spirit or source consciousness, or whatever, insert whatever name you want to, doesn't really matter. And there's this really interesting experience that can start to happen. So back to my experience that I had, I noticed that I had some boundaries up, some energetic barriers, meaning like I would not let people in, like I would keep them at a surface level. But the intent for myself, and this is with someone that I love deeply and that I care about and I trust and I feel very safe with. And so it was interesting to feel that start to recede just by her gaze, and it was almost as if she penetrated my heart. And then it was like we were present to our connection. And, from this space, she could feel, and we just started sharing like what we felt. It was my turn to just like be the observer, and she was sharing with me what she felt. And everything that she shared, that she was present to, or that she was feeling, was actually occurring for me. And not only was it occurring for me, but she was able to, we co-creatively were able to imagine different experiences. So for example, I was feeling heat in my left shoulder. And, from that point, we just started to imagine that there was water. And that imagining created an experience of that heat disappearing and my shoulder relaxing. It's really fascinating. So that's kind of going to be some of the practices that I'll begin walking people through. Sorry about that. That's just one of the exercises that this workshop will be about, and that's kind of touching it a little bit. Um, I am a little bit rushed, quite honestly, in this video, but as part of my commitment, it's important for me to just do it. I notice myself like wanting to just be like, all right, not tonight, you know, it'll be fine, but that doesn't work. Um, yeah. Uh, I think that's it. I think that's it. I will talk with you more tomorrow.